welcome back to the Top of the Bottom podcast. Now, if you've been watching this show from the very beginning, you'll kind of think this setup looks a little weird. And that's because it's a first for us, isn't it? Isn't it, Jay?
Oh, yeah. This is the first time we have somebody else on here with us. We have a special guest.
Yes, his name is Joshua the Militant. He's a local rapper. And Josh, we're so glad to have you on with us here tonight.
Thank you guys for the invitation. I really appreciate it. I'm loving what I'm seeing on the podcast. It's great, guys. Keep that shit going.
Yeah.
Man, totally appreciate that.
We appreciate it, and you are our first guest. Is this your first interview?
No, I've done one like 5 years ago. I used to do these shows back in the day, like before the pandemic, for this party group called Your Friends, and I did their podcast once. That was a long time ago now. So
you're right.
Yeah.
Is it still online?
Yeah, it is.
Oh,
it
good.
Should be.
We're gonna go. It's gonna be a throwback Thursday, right? We're gonna go look at your old interview.
Yeah, bro.
Oh, yeah.
We'll see if those opinions still hold up.
Kinda, honestly. Yeah, kinda.
He's got some timeless opinions.
Yeah.
You know. So before we get into the actual interview with Josh and we'll discuss the things that he's going on in his life, we think it'd be a fun idea because we don't really see this in other podcasts to have our guests interact with us in the way we perform the show, with the way we do our segments. And I think that would be an interesting experiment to work out for this show because it's different. Usually people have guests on that's just like they go through whatever it is, like whatever structure they have for interviews, but we're not going to do that. We're going to hold the show the same way we do it. And then we'll talk to more about Josh because I think you guys are really going to like him. He's a really cool guy. I've known him for a while.
Thanks, man.
So today, obviously, because you are a rapper, I felt it would be appropriate to talk about the biggest story in hip hop right now, which is Kendrick Lamar versus Drake. Now, for anybody who doesn't know what's been going on with Kendrick versus Drake, they've been having this back and forth beef for a very long time, dating back, I guess, after Poetic Justice. They've been sneak dissing Kendrick's The Heart Part 4, Drake in various collaborations. He's been dropping sneak disses. But in one of Drake's most recent releases, in a collaboration with J. Cole had said he dropped a line uplifting all three of these guys. He said Drake, Kendrick, and himself, J. Cole, were all in the same league, like the big three. Kendrick did not like this, and Kendrick attacked both of them, saying that there's no big three, it's just Big Me.
Mm-hmm.
And that was what kicked off the biggest rap beef possibly of all time. I'm not sure, maybe Biggie and Tupac is still the biggest.
Oh, definitely.
But this is definitely number two. This definitely has to be number two.
Oh, yes, definitely.
So, and there's been back and forth not only with the sneak dissing, but the diss tracks themselves. Literally last night before we got here to shoot this podcast at 11 p.m. Pacific time, which is 2 a.m. Eastern time, which is Drake's and Kendrick's time, they dropped 2 diss tracks on each other. So that was crazy. So let's get started. Did you guys get a chance to listen to the diss tracks?
Yeah, I did. That was my first thing I did.
The first thing you did, you listened to Push-Ups?
I listened to everything.
Everything.
All of them.
So
Nice.
before when like that happened, I just fell into this loophole, this rabbit hole. I'm very infatuated with rap beefs just because it's very memorable. One of my favorites is 50 Cent versus Ja Rule, and legendary. Other than that, I was watching how did this even brew? Kendrick and Drake, especially since they were on tour for the Take Care tour, and ever since that, I just been waiting for the tracks. I was awake when Euphoria dropped, and that was fucking crazy. I was like, no way this is happening. And then just yesterday, when he did Family Matters, there's 2 different versions of Family Matters, guys.
Is there?
Oh, wow.
There's one on Instagram where he drops like a little 2-minute verse. I don't know if you guys heard Take Care, the Drake album.
Yeah.
Kendrick and Drake, they both share a verse on Buried Alive interlude. So Drake is on the Buried Alive interlude instrumental and is pretty much mocking him and dissing him. And then he does the Family Matters 6-minute song. And then 30 minutes after, hey Dot, just messing him up, ripping him out. That was wild.
With Meet the Grams.
Meet the Grams. Yeah, early this morning.
And a lot, Kendrick alleges a lot of things in Euphoria. He says that, how do you know that OVO isn't working for me? And he does that by saying these things that we may or may not know. And the fact that he drops 30 minutes after completely responding to whatever it is Drake alleged in Family Matters kind of makes it seem like there is a mole on the inside of OVO, don't you think?
Yeah, it does. It does. Just because, like, for example, Kendrick did drop the 6 and 16 p.m.
Yeah.
In LA.
And we only seen the glove.
Yeah.
We only seen the glove.
Yeah.
So everyone's like, all right, what's up with this glove? Everyone was just reading it too much. Like, oh, like it's
an
something
OJ reference.
Yeah, OJ reference. But until we got the full picture.
Yeah, that was. I was like, wait, it's the exact same. It's just zoomed out now, like
Yes.
completely uncropped, and that was crazy. And I think what's interesting is the way it's all unfolded, right? Because like Abel or The Weeknd attacked Drake as well. Metro Boomin, Future, Rick Ross, all dropping diss tracks. J. Cole dropped the diss track, but immediately dropped out and apologized, profusely.
At one of his concerts, right?
Yeah, one of his concerts.
It was his own concert.
Yeah,
his own concert. Wow.
And I heard J. Cole's diss track. I don't know if you heard it before he deleted it.
I've only seen kind of like snippets of it. I'm not really the biggest J. Cole fan. And plus, it's like Drake and Kendrick. Who wants to hear J. Cole's side? Come on.
Yeah, I people hated J. Cole's diss track because they said it was weak. But the only reason why it's weak is because it's not really disrespectful. He was just insulting Kendrick and doing like wordplay, lots of like technical hip hop tricks.
Yeah.
Which is why I liked it. Like it was like a good exhibition,
Oh, nice.
But but he knew. I think he knew it was gonna get a little dirty. So he said, It's not me. You guys can get at it." So he dropped out. So in Family Matters, Drake alleges that Kendrick is abusing his wife.
Yeah.
I had never heard this before, but
Me neither.
some people were saying he kind of addressed it in Mr. Morale ahead of time.
Yes.
But I just did not know that. I was completely blindsided by this. I don't know if Drake is lying, what is going on.
That's the thing that me and K9 were talking about before this. It's like, what is true in this? Throughout like the many videos that I've seen about beefs, it's a lot of it serious. Like that whole 50 Cent Ja Rule, it was truthful. It was real street. Even when it goes to Gucci Mane and Jeezy, that was real street. And it was all truth. It's not like they were pump faking it. So it brings me back to this whole Drake and Kendrick debacle. It's like, damn, like, what if this is true? But there's a lot that both of them say. So it's like, what's gonna happen after this? The thing that I liked about yesterday was after Drake dropped, we're like, okay, there's not gonna be a lot of diss tracks going back and forth. Drake said that he's going on vacation. That means he's done.
Yeah.
But 30 minutes after the Meet the Grahams happened, so it's like, what? We're back in the state where we don't know what's happening and we're excited for it, and I like that. This is what makes fucking rap music beautiful and just one of the greatest genres ever. It's just because like we are able to see these two artists hash it out in an hour or so, and then the next day or the next week just ponder like, what the fuck's gonna happen? What else is he gonna say? Is there another nuke? It's just crazy. I like it.
Yeah, that truly is what makes hip hop special. You can just, I don't know if you remember the Tory Lanez and Joyner Lucas rap beef, because they were like going back and forth, and they would drop songs like within 30 minutes of each other. Like,
oh wow, no, I didn't know that. I only knew about Tory Lanez and Travis Scott having a little thing, but that was a long time ago.
Yeah, this was maybe like 4 years ago, I would say.
Oh wow.
Yeah, before the whole Tory Lanez thing happened with Meg.
Yeah.
They were going back and forth on Twitter, I guess, just jawing off at each other. It wasn't serious. So Tory Lanez dropped a diss track on Joyner. Joyner responded, and then like 30 minutes later, Tory Lanez dropped another one, and then the next day, Joyner had to respond, and Joyner was like, "Listen, bro, I'm not gonna do this every time.
Yes.
Let's just make a song together." So they squashed the beef that way, but that was kind of fun.
And that reminds me too. Do you think the Kendrick and Drake beef will end up ending like that? Like, what is the end game for these two rappers? I mean, they're the biggest artists in the world. How is this gonna end? Because I'm pretty sure, of course, like, yeah, they did mention family people, but I think from Biggie and Tupac, we've seen these rap beefs go so far. I feel like we're never gonna go past to the point where an artist might die. So it gets me guessing like, what the fuck's gonna happen? Like, there's no way after all this ends, Drake's gonna be done, or Kendrick's gonna be done, or they're gonna be buddies. What's gonna happen?
Right. I think if you listened to the diss tracks between Biggie and Tupac, they were talking about killing each other.
Yeah.
like they were talking about really killing each other, and they did. They ended up doing it. Whereas in these diss tracks between Kendrick and Drake, Drake is kind of trying to like discredit Kendrick.
Yes.
And Kendrick is just trying to sun Drake. He's just trying to sun him. And I'd say he did a good job of doing that. He definitely put him in his place and talked to him like a father, despite Drake, I believe, being older.
Yeah, he's 1 year older
than Kendrick is. So I think we'll never get another Drake and Kendrick collaboration again. Yeah. I think they're both going to remain at the same spot, and I feel like they're going to use all this news cycle to drop albums.
I hope so.
And sell. I think that's exactly what's going to happen. Yeah. I've seen a lot of people in the comments of all of Kendrick's diss tracks saying, I want to thank Drake for forcing Kendrick to drop sooner than he usually does.
Yeah. Like, we're getting new Kendrick. We're so infatuated with, like, the whole beef. We're forgetting, like, damn, we're getting so much music from these artists that we normally don't get. You get me?
Yeah. It truly is like a blessing in disguise. But Kendrick also on Meet the Grams revealed that Drake has a daughter.
Yeah.
I don't know how much of that is true. How was Drake's reaction when Adonis was revealed? I don't remember what was his reaction on Instagram.
I've heard that he denied it the first time. So when he denied it on his Instagram, it's like, you denied your son, so we don't know if we want to believe you. But I don't know. That thing just seems too good to be true. The first time, don't get me wrong, when Pusha T said it, fucking crazy. But now it's a different beef. It's like, it's hard, but it's like, are you capping or is this all rap cap? I don't know, honestly. I don't know.
Yeah, it's because Kendrick, or people are claiming she's 11. I don't know if that's what Kendrick claimed, but he did make it seem like she's older.
Yes,
certainly, because the way he addressed Adonis was like he's talking to a little kid.
Mm-hmm.
But the way he addressed baby girl, as Kendrick calls her, like she's an older child. So that was wild. Even I don't know what to believe. Like
me neither.
It's like, so if she's 11, that means Drake had her when he was 29, because he's like 39, 37, 39. So when he had her when he was 28,
like 28 years old. Yeah.
Yep.
That means before. That's Adonis's older sister. If that's true,
Mm-hmm.
that would be insane.
How long was he able to keep him a secret?
How old is Adonis?
I don't even know.
How old Adonis is?
10 or something?
Nah, I think he's probably like
5, right?
5. Yeah, I think
younger.
he has to be 5.
Oh, what the
Yeah.
heck?
And so that beef was like 2 years ago. So he's like, when he was...
No, it was 5 years ago. That beef was 5 years ago. So wow.
Also, he killed him. He kept him a secret for like a year then.
Yeah, a year or so.
Yeah, so
okay,
that was crazy. And even Kendrick mentions in Euphoria to go back to attacking Pusha rather than...
That was fire.
That was fire. Yeah, it was. It really was.
That excited me. I was like, yeah, dude.
One of my problems with Drake's diss tracks is sometimes he mentions things that aren't relevant, like, and that nobody's talking, or
like, what do you mean, like the other artists, or
no, that those I feel like are relevant. Like he attacked Rick Ross for taking Ozempic, said he's jealous, and that because Rick Ross
that was a hard line.
Cool. Rick Ross dropped the diss track. I didn't listen to it. I keep forgetting, but no one's even talking about Rick Ross anymore,
really.
Except for Drake apparently.
Yeah,
it bothers Drake. But he mentioned his leaks.
Yes,
he mentioned his leaks in Family Matters, and like no one brought it up. I don't know if he was just trying to beat them to the punch that he got leaked, but he said, "You're right. It's only Big D, and there's video proof." I thought that line was pretty hard, but it was irrelevant.
I kind of like that line just because it's kind of like, that's Drake. That's something Drake would say. It reminds me of Jay-Z too, because like him and Jay-Z share this braggadocious like little bars that like, I don't know, that's just like nasty. Like, oh, like this is different. It's another thing why I admire Drake's writing. Well, his ghostwriters, just because like he does that braggadocious. So when he said that, I'm like, okay, that's hard. Typical Drake line.
Yeah, I felt the same way. And I think there was something in push-ups that he said that was like not even an issue, but he like wanted to address it beforehand. I don't know if that's that Eminem technique where you insult yourself first and you take away the other person's material. Maybe that's what he's going for with this because he felt like Kendrick might address it. But I don't know. I feel like in Euphoria, Kendrick addressed much more serious things about Drake than like petty beef, like being short or anything like that.
It was more of like just breaking him down as a man, like a big warning shot. But he's like, hey, like I know this, I know that. Sometimes you do this grimy. That for example, that's probably my favorite track out of all this. And there's a reason why, because when Euphoria dropped, I was listening to it back to back to back to back to back,
Right.
over and over and over. It's 6 minutes long, but there's 3 different beat switches, and it sounds so good. I'm a huge fan of when Kendrick does the Heart series. For example, the Heart 4, great, and it reminded me of something that he's been doing for a while, was just beat switches. So when Euphoria happened, I loved it. But it is attacking Drake as a man. It's like sunning him, like you said before.
Yeah, it's definitely the best line I think Drake had in this whole beef was in like that how Kendrick compares himself to Prince and Drake to Michael Jackson, because he's calling him a pop artist and saying, you know, Kendrick is more important to the culture. The one thing that I think Drake did great when reversing that line was when he said, "What's a prince to a king? He's a son."
Yes,
you know, that was cool. That was cool. Yeah, that guy deserves a raise. Whoever wrote that line. that guy certainly pat on the back for him. In Euphoria, I don't know if you guys noticed, while Kendrick is doing like this funny Canadian Toronto accent, he mentions a restaurant called Ho Fat King, I think.
New Ho King.
New Ho King. And since that song, he's been getting tons of business. There was a news segment from Toronto, how his business, he's been getting what is it called, review bombs, but not like in a bad way. They're like, oh, Kendrick sent me here. I got the fried rice with the dip sauce. It was great. You know, Crody, you see a lot of Crody. Say, hey, I got the Blimey with me, Crody, and 10 out of 10. Someone put 1 star. He said, I didn't get the dip sauce with the fried rice. You know. Did
you guys see the Family Matters music video? Because Drake actually ends up going to that same restaurant.
Does he?
Really?
Yes. That's interesting.
No, no way.
That was also nice too. That's the part where he pretty much says, Kendrick opened his mouth, someone should give him a Grammy again, which is funny.
Yeah.
But that's when he shows all of like Pharrell's jewelry, even though he said he burned it, but whatever.
I saw that he's gonna melt Pharrell's chains, and he's wearing them.
Yeah.
The reason why I bring that up is because in that news segment, they interviewed the actual owner of the artist, and he's playing the song from his phone. He goes, I'm trying to learn the song for him. I'm trying to learn the song for Kendrick. He goes, he's a good guy. He's a good guy.
That's awesome.
So yeah, it was a great moment. I was supposed to have it prepared, and I didn't, because of the diss tracks that came out after. I was like, oh, I'm going to throw this in the drive, and we'll all laugh at it together. But the fact that they dropped 2 more tracks, I was like, we're going to run out of time very quickly. Yeah. But I just wanted to bring that to you guys. You know, Kendrick is still helping out the community.
Yes.
You know?
Right.
Even in Drake's hometown of Toronto.
Yeah.
So, like Josh said, I don't know where this is going to go, but hopefully my prediction is it's going to lead to a new album from Kendrick.
Yeah. I think after all this.
Yeah, I think they'll just write it out, and then again, with all the popularity they're gaining with this new beef, I think it's just gonna, more music out for everybody to enjoy.
So before we close this segment, I want each of us to give our favorite diss track so far. Jays, we'll start with you. What's been your favorite so far?
Let me see. That's a hard one. I did like Euphoria a lot. Definitely when it came out. I would have to stick with Euphoria for sure.
Euphoria. What about you, Joshua?
I'm constantly battling between Euphoria and the last track that dropped last night.
Meet the Grams.
I'm gonna go Meet the Grams just because Alchemist's production is the greatest. So Meet the Grams.
Yeah, I'll be honest. When I first heard Euphoria, I didn't like it.
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't like it. I thought it was kind of whack. But then it's because it felt like he wasn't taking it serious.
Oh,
it's
interesting.
It felt a little silly. Like hear him doing the accents. And,
yeah.
Okay. He's like saying these funny lines. But when because like in the middle, like the second beat switch, then he starts getting serious, and he's like saying, I hate you, and this and that. I was like, okay, this is what I was expecting from Kendrick, because he starts off the song by singing, and then he starts second, and then he starts doing the funny accents. It's like, but I listened to it more. I've grown to like it. I think I fall between liking Push Up, because I thought Push Ups was very hard.
Push Ups is a hit.
It's a hit. It's definitely a hit.
It's a hit.
And I would say it's probably Drake's best diss track. I mean, Family Matters was kind of
Interesting.
I feel like his
definitely. I could agree with you with that.
His flow is so monotone, and he's just like. And the issue with Drake is he's at such a disadvantage because he's trying to attack so many people at once because they're all coming at him.
That's what I don't really like.
Yeah, so that's kind of and Taylor Made was just horrible. It was just like a horrible diss track. So I'm stuck between liking my favorite being Push-Ups and Meet the Grams, because Meet the Grams was what I wanted from Kendrick. I expected Kendrick to attack him like that.
Yeah.
Like just go through that man's his whole family tree and just attack everybody, but in a respectful way.
Of course.
You know, disrespecting Kendrick while respecting the family is how I expected Kendrick to do. So I'm stuck between yours, which is Meet the Gram, and Push-Ups. But
Nice.
I'm leaning a little towards Push-Ups because that was a good first response. It was hard for Kendrick to rebuttal that. You know?
That is true.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got any diss tracks written for anybody, George?
No, I don't.
No beef.
No beef, but I mean, like I said earlier, I study all this beef. If I have, like, for example, one of those like YouTube kids, I have to eat something and watch YouTube, and if I get a good meal, like a cognac and I'm like, all right, let me see what 50 Cent Ja Rule was talking about.
Right, yeah, of course, yeah.
So I study this shit, man.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Like, every time I see these diss tracks, I have to go back to the Nail in the Coffin by Eminem. And it's just like,
Yeah.
that is my favorite diss track of all time. That man hated Benzino.
Yeah.
You can tell he hated Benzino. And in the comments of those videos, people were like, if you don't know who Benzino is, it's probably because of Eminem. And if you do know who Benzino is, it's probably because of Eminem.
Yep. Yeah, man.
Oh, man.
But so that was the Drake and Kendrick beef. I wouldn't be surprised if while we're shooting this right now, another diss track drops. You know, so
Right.
hopefully it doesn't make this podcast age too
Yeah.
badly.
Hopefully not.
We gotta have like a ticker on the bottom, just like updating all the updates.
Yeah, like what
Like-
updates?
Yeah, like a sports scores. You know, but hopefully nobody dies and
Yeah,
we all
yeah.
have a good laugh. Hopefully we see these guys when they're old and gray and like no one's talking about them anymore. That's the best thing you can hope for.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Definitely.
So now let's get to know our guest a little bit better. Let's get to know Joshua the Militant. So Jay, I want to kick it to you. I know you have some questions. For me.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, we just started off first off, with your name, Josh the Militant. Joshua, your first name.
Yeah.
The Militant. Where does that come from?
So I started thinking about rapping around freshman year, and I was reading a lot of like Malcolm X, like the autobiography and the extra
Good
part
one.
with Alex Haley, and I just noticed that there's something really different. Like, I feel like in the world you have to be militant. You have to take what you want. If you really want something, you do it. Just cause like abiding by people and just like trying to wait for people, you're not gonna get done like that. You have to do it on your own.
Definitely.
And it kind of like the ring to it. So I just thought like Joshua the Militant, JTM. Everyone calls me JTM, so I kind of liked how it came out.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool inspiration.
JTM
Bye-bye.
XTOTB.
Yeah, GTM TOTV.
Yeah, buddy.
Oh, that's awesome. And how long was it that you started getting into rap?
That was like, I think it's been like almost 8 years.
8 years?
already.
Because how old
Yeah.
are you now, if I can ask?
I'm 22.
Oh, 22?
Yeah.
Oh, you're really young.
Yeah.
Pretty young.
Youngin.
8 years ago.
Yeah, 8 years
Wow.
ago. It's about to be a decade of me rapping, so I
That's
like that.
awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, Nick, you mentioned the Malcolm X biography. That's a good one.
Yeah.
I think that Malcolm X is like the one example of being like radical
Yes.
without coming off as crazy, even though they try to make you seem crazy. Like,
Yeah,
try to
yeah.
make him, they try to discredit him, but the reason so many people love him is because of how he presented himself, like being
Right.
strong,
Yeah.
and firm but peaceful. But that's something that I really respect. So, how many albums do you have out now?
Albums. Okay, so I only have one album. I would say I did that album as like a little like anniversary gift for myself, because it was probably like 5 years that I was already rapping for, and that was called Tears of a Shit Talker, I believe. Yeah, Tears of a Shit Talker.
I heard some of that. Yeah.
And then after that, I thought I really like doing EPs. There's a lot of different sounds that I do on EPs. Like, for example, like I did a whole Detroit sound EP. I've done a plug-in B EP, and I like having fun with that. Just cause like I don't have to drop a mixtape yet, but when I do, it's like, oh, this is gonna be cool, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, just one official album so far from 2020, something like that.
So, how many
2020.
projects?
Projects, let's see, like 5 or 6. And that's like not even counting the SoundCloud ones. That's probably just
Oh wow!
the ones on my my DSPs, all that.
Oh nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I was a SoundCloud guy before dropping on DSPs, just because of like how I record. For example, I don't know if you guys know about the app of BandLab.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was on BandLab way before it was fucking cool. So that's how I was recording my music in high school, BandLab. And I would just drop it on SoundCloud a lot. During the pandemic is when I was just dropping bangers on bangers on bangers. I think monthly I was just recording bangers and bangers. And that really helped me because I was just writing, and I was also going through some heartbreak. So that was just feeling the pen, and I was making fucking hits with really great beats. I really liked that era of beats that I was finding it too. I really found my bag in my pocket right there.
Were you like the Taylor Swift of rap? You know, writing about your exes.
No.
Oh man.
I rap about being sad, but it's like I rap about like being fly and shit, you know, just like being yourself, like that.
Right. And how would you describe like your whole vibe with your music in general?
It's like pretty boy music, you know, like shit, like I feel good listening to it, like damn, like he's flexing weird shit, but I like it, you know.
Yeah.
It's also just me being myself. Like I'm not really a huge flexer. I'm not the type of person to go on Instagram and post like, damn, I got these new Jordans, man, like unreleased. No, man, like I be doing slight flexes, bro. Like you won't know what I'm wearing until like you find it on like your TikTok FYP and be like, oh shit, JTN was rocking that. That's crazy. But yeah, I like to just keep it to myself, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a smart idea. I mean, it's also a good way to get yourself robbed, you know.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
People out here lurking. They're lurking.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not trying to be like a walking lick. Or nothing.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. Did you jump on SoundCloud when it was popping? Like right now, SoundCloud's kind of dead. But there was a time period when SoundCloud was the place to go for aspiring artists.
Yeah.
So the way that I remember SoundCloud is like during my middle school year, that was when it was popping. I'm talking about like Peep was on #1 for months. And of course, Xavier Wolf, all that stuff. But I'll definitely say that era was my favorite, just because like I was able to say that I seen that happen.
Yeah. XXX Tentacion.
Yes.
Chance the Rapper, you know, they all pretty much came from SoundCloud, which was very inspiring, I think, for a lot of up and coming internet artists.
Shout out Chance the Rapper because he saved SoundCloud. SoundCloud was gonna go bankrupt, but then Chance was all like, "I'll pay you guys, and I love my wife."
Oh man.
Except when he's at Carnival. Except when he's at Carnival.
They're divorced now.
Oh, what?
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh, that's
No
sad.
way.
That's sad.
Wow.
So now I guess he doesn't love his wife.
Yeah, we're going to Carnival next year, actually.
Oh, really?
Me and Chance are going to
That's
Carnival.
awesome.
Hey,
That's
You guys are welcome to come, man.
Hey,
Yeah,
you know,
hey.
the TOTB hitting Carnival, you know.
Yeah, we'll be right in there.
We'll bring the cameras, you know, we'll catch everybody.
Yeah.
We'll catch everybody
We'll
laughing.
all behind the scenes. Man, and you said you had during this pandemic, you know, you were just writing.
Yeah.
Was there any form of like self, you know, just say a mind block where you just couldn't come out with something?
Actually, during that time, no.
It was all just
it was
good.
just kind of weird, just because since I was going through so much, I had nothing to do but write. I wasn't really gaming at the time, just because that was such a boring year game, besides Warzone and all that. But I never found myself just like, I don't know what to write about. Like, it was more of just finding beats that I liked.
Right.
That's what I noticed about. I don't really get writer's block and stuff like that. If I do, I just think to myself it's an excuse for like me not writing. But every time my artist friends tell me like, yo, I got writer's block, I just tell them like, yo, like, watch an interview, watch a movie, go watch some concerts. Like, why do you like this artist? Okay, go find out why. Just go find inspiration. Which was a surprise too, because I was dropping a lot during the whole pandemic, and yeah.
Speaking
That's
of dropping,
awesome.
you dropped Puffin Dutchess recently.
Yep.
Does that mean
that one.
you got a project in the works coming soon?
Yes. I want to make an EP before the show drops. Something loud, something a little light, just because I haven't dropped the EP in a while. The last EP was kind of like a bunch of Lucy tracks, a bunch of tracks that I've just had for a while. Wave is one of the few tracks that I recorded during the pandemic. I think that's probably one of my favorite tracks that I've done during that era. But I have an EP. I'm working on it right now. I'm between the name of Take Care It's a Desert Out There, but it's a little bit long, so I'll see how that goes.
Right. And what was the inspiration for Puffin Dutchess? Like, what mood were you in when you wrote that song?
I kind of like, ever since this show, I want to make music that's like concert live. It's really weird. Like,
Oh yeah.
the same way Travis Scott makes his music, it's for a concert, it's for a show. So after I heard Utopia and I seen the movie, and then I went to Camp Flognog, I was like, okay, like, I think I'm ready for the show. I want to make a fucking banger. I want to have fun on that stage. And Puffin Duchess and the Lack, that beat is crazy. I fell in love with that beat. And it's that hook is very reminiscent of like Raider Clan hooks, you know? And that's what kind of like got me to write that song. Just because I was watching the whole Raider Clan Boiler Room set. It's when like everyone's on it, bro. Like, of course, Xavier Wolf, Space Ghost Perp, Bones, Eddie Baker, and, a couple guys from Odd Future show up and like perform. It's crazy, but that's where I got the inspiration from it.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like a stadium song. Like, or I know exactly what you're talking about. What is it? Some rock bands do the same thing, like Rammstein or Ghost. They have like stadium music.
Yeah.
So I definitely can get that feel, and hopefully this new EP kind of has a similar sound. I know you say it's kind of light, but if Puff and Duchess is going to be on there, I'm sure sonically you try to keep things consistent.
Definitely.
So you mentioned the show, and so we're having JTM on, in accordance with some other artists from the exact same show. Next week, I know he mentioned him earlier, K9, also known as Kosher 9, will be next week's guest. He's also performing in the show. The show is called Nighttime is Our Time. Okay, tell us a little about the show, what to expect from it.
So, we've been wanting to do this show. It's been in talks for maybe 2 years, since the pandemic, because I've been making music with K9 for like 3 years already. So we always have this idea of like, damn, bro, like the only way we're gonna make noise is throw a show for the city. And when we introduced it to the idea with Banks, he's like, yo, like let's just find a venue, like let's make it work. And Banks is the pretty much like the manager of Nighttime is Our Time, Heaven or Las Vegas. He's the owner of that production company. So him and my younger brother Nate, they're both behind the scenes doing a bunch of great jobs for the show. So yeah, I'm excited for the show.
Can you tell us who's going to be in the show?
Let's see. We're gonna have the homegirl Drizzy performing. We're gonna have me versus Jordan. We're gonna have I don't know if this is still his name, but we're gonna have Honcho on the lineup. We're gonna have the one and only Lil Burnt on the lineup.
Hey, it's pretty big.
We're gonna have Gio on the lineup, and then we have somebody, Sir Cruz, on the lineup too. I think that should be everybody. If I missed you, please don't take it personal.
As well as yourself and Kosher 9.
Yeah. So and how many of you guys are there in total working together?
What do you mean?
Like artists that are performing.
Artists that I prefer. There's probably like 6 or 7.
Oh, 6 or 7
yeah.
of you guys.
Okay. It's a lineup. It's a lineup. It feels like a festival. But it's gonna be at a venue, but it feels like a festival. We're trying to go for that festival feel, especially since there are different artists from the city. So we're trying to get that festival vibe going on.
Oh, that's awesome.
And how did you end up linking up with these artists? Did you happen to know them through the industry?
So like this with East LA, there's not really industry now. It's just like people doing their own. For example, how did I meet K9? Oh, my good friend Gucci. He ended up going to the same high school that K9 went to, and he's all like, bro, like this guy makes good music. You should check him out. And I checked him out, and he was rapping on the regular show theme song.
Oh, nice,
really?
Sweet.
That was fucking hard. I tell him to this day too. I'm like, bro, this song is so hard. And that was one of the first few moments where I heard this artist from my city. I'm like, damn, he kind of makes. He's in his own wave the same way I'm in my own wave. And at that time, I didn't really see any artists that are kind of doing that. So we eventually ended up just linking up, recording, and ever since then, we dropped a couple songs together. And then we share studio time. He gets an hour, I get an hour after. It's just this really good bond.
Yeah, that's definitely a great way to meet people. You know, glad you have a frequent collaborator. You know, you guys are going to on the come up together.
Yes.
With all these other artists. Sounds like it's going to be a good show. How long is the show? Do you have like an estimate? I know on Eventbrite, which we'll ask right now, like where to find it. it says listed at least 5 hours.
5 hours, yeah.
Yeah,
We're going for that festival vibe, bro. So, yeah, it's gonna be a long show. Yeah.
Is it 18 only?
Yes,
All right.
18 and up.
Good. So is this show, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, so can you tell the people where they can get tickets to go see Nighttime is Our Time?
It's going to be Eventbrite, Nighttime is Our Time. So yeah, just go on Eventbrite, search up Nighttime is Our Time, and you'll get the tickets. Yeah.
Are the links in your Instagram page?
Yeah, everything's on my Instagram page. Or also on the Heaven, Vegas page.
Now that we shouted out Heaven or Vegas, why don't you give yourself a shout? You got a social media you want to plug?
My letterbox, JTM Wonder. You talking mad on there, bro. Yeah. That's about it. Of course, all my DSPs, Joshua the Militant, stream on Spotify and Apple Music now. But my letterbox, come get at me. See what I'm watching.
Hey, run the numbers. Run the numbers up. And I met you because we went to school together.
Yeah.
We had a film class, and I know that in the last semester that I was there, you shot a film yourself.
Yes.
Called Four Corners.
Yep.
Can you tell us a little about it?
Four Corners. That was such a cool time in my life. Pretty much the movie is very reminiscent of the Memphis sigil era, like 3-6 Mafia, Tommy Wright III. These two rappers want to get a feature from this singer that they think they'll fit well on the track, but their idea is to kill her and sacrifice her to blow up. But it goes horribly wrong because her boyfriend just becomes taxi driver, saves her. I love that project. Shout out to everybody in that project, honestly, from DPs to sound to the fucking actors. That project, I feel like that project shouldn't have gone the way it was supposed to, but it did, and that was the beauty of it for sure.
Yeah, I definitely think the Joe on there who was eventually the editor. The editor was supposed to be me, and I flaked out on you, and I apologize.
No, you didn't flake out. You had a lot of projects. You were but you're the GOAT on that.
Yeah, thank you.
Is also why you get special thanks, because you held all the footage.
Yeah.
So yeah, he has credits. Yeah, you have credits.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
I don't know if you saw that, but the credits went really fast. But yeah, I special thanks to you.
I appreciate that. I remember there was a little chaos with all the
footage.
It was
fucking crazy.
And so
it was
like,
crazy.
Jeremiah has it, and I still had all the footage.
Yeah.
But Joe, based on Joe's edit, because I edited some of the scenes, and his was much better than mine. I'll put that out there. And I think it's because he was the DP, so he had a vision for what it was gonna look like, and I was just using traditional editing. And so I think he definitely knocked it out of the park with that one. When you approached this project, was it different the way you approach an album?
Not really, just because I've been writing scripts since my senior year, just because that was the year where it's what am I going to do if I go to college? What the fuck I'm going to study? And my first script was a project called Thanks for the Invite. It was about this dude that is being thrown a party, and a bunch of his exes and a bunch of crazy people pull up. So just him going through these little events, and I just got that from a dream I had, and I just had to write it down. I had to lock in and write it down, and then after that, I started writing a little bit shorts, especially for the school that we went to. I did a couple of short movies, and then it wasn't until Four Corners whereas I was like, damn, I could really sink my teeth into this idea that I have, and that's how it went on. You mentioned how you liked the editing of it. So originally, our professor didn't like Joe's first version.
Really?
I fucking love that version. I love the color. I love the editing. I love the whole thing. I was really geeking out about it. But when our professor didn't like it, I was like, no way. You don't like this? This looks great. This is badass. So, which is also why when you say I like how it ended up going, it was cool. I like both, but that first one was so good. Shout out, Joe.
I gotta see the original version now.
Yeah.
If it's because I know Joe likes to work with these colors when he color grades.
Yes, he does. He's the man at that.
Yeah, I know he likes to color grade a lot of things, and now they're working on some experimental projects, which I would assume take some inspiration from that. So if I ever get the chance to see it, I'd love to see the Four Corners, the secret edit, the director's cut, the director's cut.
The director's cut.
So the last thing I'll say before we watch a clip of Four Corners here on the show, do you feel more natural being a director or being on a performer?
So the thing that I noticed when directing, it's like, don't get me wrong, I love directing, but sometimes I just find myself like, fuck, man, like, I want to be recording right now. Like, I'd love to be recording right now. Not like trying to discredit anything or my direction, but like, this music really hits me different. Just because when I am doing something else I love, I'm thinking about the other thing I love too. So it's like, but I definitely say I'm more of a performer. Like, directing is cool, but performing is like, I don't know, I'm in that bag. I just been doing it so long, which is also why I like directing. It was uncomfortable for me. I love that feeling, just because like it baffled me, because I'm like, damn, like I could just be rapping right now, but no, I'm doing this. Like, I'm pushing myself. That extra push taught me a lot, and it taught me more than just directing. It taught me a lot of shit about life and just being pungent, pushing yourself. You know, I'm glad that I can say that I written and directed a short film from my own idea, and that's what's special to me.
Yeah, you know, it's always good to push yourself out of your comfort zone, because you might figure out things about yourself that you wouldn't have known beforehand.
Yeah.
You know, so let's watch a clip of Four Corners right now.
I need this shit, okay? I think her boyfriend's here. What are we gonna do?
I don't f***ing know. You could go handle it, bro.
I'm gonna gut this bitch like a pig. Wait. No, right there.
Well, that was it. That was our clip for Four Corners. Looks good. You know, I can't wait. So it's on your YouTube channel, correct?
Yes.
And so can you shout out your YouTube channel? Let's get people to watch it, and we'll put it in the description below of the video, so everybody can link to it and check it out. We'll link your stuff too.
I think it should be on Here Lies JTM. Originally, it was a Halloween Horror Nights channel, just because that's also another thing I'm into, Halloween Horror Nights. And I ended up just dropping it there on my birthday.
Gonna make a horror movie?
I tried making the horror movie of Four Corners, but it came out something different and special. For example, like when Victor, the guy who plays Billy, the one who says, I'm screaming like a pig, he had so much funny ideas, but I'm like, dude, we can't do that. Like, it's supposed to be scary. It's supposed to be tense. But, you know, it could have been a funny movie. Could have been a funny movie.
Yeah, or horrorcore album. You got a horrorcore album in the works?
Oh no, I actually have a jazz album that I'm doing right now.
Oh, jazz.
Oh,
So
nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
and an ASMR album too.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's gonna be fire.
Yeah,
That's gonna be fire, especially on SoundCloud.
Yeah, I've been into ASMR for a while.
That's awesome. Well, at the end of every show, we do our favorite segment, I think, among us in the audience.
Yeah.
We go down to Florida every week and we talk about Florida, man.
Florida man.
Yep. It's just a thing that happens in Florida, you know. There's a lot of things going down in Florida.
So my story from out in Florida is a man who was speeding. So it says, this was from Fox 35, seemingly my favorite website. Every week I talk about Fox 35.
Yeah. Shout out Fox 35.
Shout out Fox 35 out in Florida. Florida man caught driving on I-95 at 108 miles an hour. He was in a hurry to see his girlfriend, say the deputies, and there he is right there. There's his Brevard County Sheriff's Office booking image. It's on Facebook too, I guess. Cocoa, Florida. A Florida man clocked driving at 108 miles per hour on Interstate 95 told deputies he was in a hurry to see his girlfriend. According to an arrest affidavit from the Brevard County Sheriff's Office, Alex Sombravia, 27, of North Lauderdale, was arrested and charged with reckless driving in Brevard County during his drive from South Florida to North Carolina on Saturday morning. Deputies responded to the area of the I-95 and West King Street in Kakoa for a report of a reckless driver. A caller said a red Toyota Camry was weaving in and out of traffic and driving on an emergency lane. The affidavit said deputies tried to catch up to the driver, later identified as Sobravia, and witnessed the car fall or fail to maintain a single lane. Sombravia was allegedly accelerating to speeds of about 108 miles per hour and higher. Deputies conducted a traffic stop and spoke with Sombravia, who said he was driving to see his girlfriend in North Carolina and was in a hurry. Due to Mr. Sombravia driving his vehicle with willful disregard of the safety of another person and the property around him, he was placed under arrest for reckless driving. The deputies also issued a traffic citation for reckless driving with mandatory court appearance that has been scheduled for May 13th. Arrest records indicate he was transported to the county jail. Hey, that's a few days from now. You know?
That boy was trying to get man.
I bet, man.
He'll never get that post-nut clarity.
No, he won't.
Oh,
He'll
man.
just he'll always be thinking about it while he's surrounded by men in the county jail.
It doesn't say that he was drunk or anything, right? He was just in a hurry.
It's strange how he was driving in and out of lanes while sober.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That is crazy.
That's a terrible decision to make too. Like he might have gotten away with the speeding if he had just stuck with one lane.
That's true.
But he didn't.
Yeah.
He just didn't. He was not thinking right there. So that's my story.
That's your story?
Yeah, you got one for me, Jay?
I do. I have one. Mine's totally goes off different. Could have involved drugs. I'm not too sure. But the title of this thing is called Florida Man Arrested After Allegedly Pelting Roommate with Pizza Dough. This guy was just hammered his friend.
That guy's.
Yeah. So in St. Petersburg, Florida, a Florida man was arrested earlier this month after he allegedly pelted his roommate with pizza dough because he was making coughing sounds he didn't like. The guy was coughing too much, man.
So stupid.
Yeah, it's just really dumb. So Joseph Tressel, 32, was charged with criminal mischief and simple battery after the incident that unfolded on St. Petersburg apartment on April 11th, according to the arrest affidavit from the Pinal County Sheriff's. At around 7:20 p.m., Tressel was making pizza. The arrest affidavit said that Tressel said he heard voices telling him on how to make the pizza.
That's the first red flag.
Yeah, that's drugs. Right away, you can tell. Pizza's not that hard either. You don't need voices to tell you.
Yeah, it's not.
Trestle's roommate.
He didn't finish cooking it because it was still dough when he threw it.
Yeah, and he threw it.
The voices
I don't
probably
know.
told him throw that.
Throw that shit, man. That sounds okay. So Trestle's roommate started to make coughing sounds, which irritated him. That's when Tressel allegedly grabbed a piece of the dough from the floor that had already been thrown. Yeah, so he had already threw it. He picked it up and threw it again at this man. The pizza dough struck him in the hip while he was sitting at the dining room table, according to the affidavit. Deputies police said he had no visible bruising on him. Of course.
Yeah.
After the incident, Tressel allegedly went into his roommate's room, grabbed his dresser, slammed it down, and pulled the drawers out. This caused damage to the dresser frame. He did this on his way to his own room, which is on the path, going down. He goes into this guy's room, destroys it, and then goes to his own room. In a post,
I'm going to bed.
In a post-Miranda interview with deputies, Tressel said that he struck his roommate with the pizza dough because he was making coughing sounds that he did not like. Additionally, Tressel said he slammed the dresser down because he was angry at his roommate. Tressel remains in custody at the Pinal County Jail on $1,150, so $1,150 bond.
Jesus,
that's crazy. Florida is like
it's something else.
You definitely get the greatest content from Florida.
Oh yeah,
that's why we do this every week. We bring 2 stories every week and we never run out of material.
Yeah, anything you can imagine, Florida has it.
Yeah.
It's been through.
You ever throw pizza dough at somebody, Josh?
no, I haven't, but I know about Florida, man. I know. About
Yeah,
Florida,
you ever had voices in your head letting you know how to make pizza?
Actually, no, but I have voices in my head, but like they speak Spanish.
Oh, Spanish. Oh, wow.
Yeah, I don't know what they be saying, dog.
This is there. Well, yeah, that was my Florida man, possibly involving drugs. Obviously, there is.
I feel like
It has to be.
I feel like your Florida man and my Florida man should start a business because he's driving fast enough to deliver the pizza.
Oh, oh, and this guy could just swing it out the fucking window.
Yeah, he just opens the window, he throws it in, and then he drives off 108 miles an hour to get it within 30 minutes.
Pizza drive-by.
Pizza drive-by. They're just pieing
that's
pizza.
awesome.
Oh my goodness. Well, I had a fun time today with dude Josh.
That was it.
Here,
Thank you guys for having me on here. I am truly humbled and blessed to be on here, guys.
Can't wait for the show. We can't wait for
Oh
the
yeah,
music.
Yes.
it's exciting.
We're excited for more news coming from you and your camp with what's going on.
Yes.
With Heaven or Vegas. And we're grateful that you're our first guest here on the
Oh
podcast.
yeah,
Thank you,
definitely,
guys.
definitely good to have you, man.
Thanks.
So everybody, check out JTM on all the links that we're going to put in the description down below.
Shout out Backyard Fleet. You dig?
Shout out Backyard Fleet. You can follow us everywhere, as we say,
Yep.
TOTBENT on all social media platforms. You can follow me on Instagram, Jeremiah Jordan, TOTB. You can follow Jay.
Follow me at J_3_.
And that's all for today. Well, we'll see you all next week when Kosher 9 joins us to promote our time. Nighttime is our time.
Check you later.
Yeah. Peace.
See you guys.